Okay, the day has come.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I kind of suited up today because I wanted to talk about the DAAD interview. If you click this video, either you're already shortlisted for the DAAD selection interview or it's before the notification but you just want to know what's going on in the interview. If you're new here, my name is Jun and I'm a master's student studying microbiology here in Germany. And I was extremely honored to receive the DAAD Master's Scholarship, and I'm just here to share my experience with the DAAD interview. Not only sharing the actual interview questions, but I also want to be reflecting myself and analyzing my interview a bit as well. For example, what I did great in the interview and what I could have done better in the interview. Hopefully you can get some values out of this video and apply into your future scholarship interviews or other interviews. I actually filmed some scenes before and after my actual interview with the intention of making a YouTube video out of my own experience, regardless of my outcome. So basically, this is a video that I wish I could have seen before my interview, which I couldn't really find a lot on YouTube or on blog, Google, stuff like that. This is the main reason why I made this video. Certainly not to brag, I just wanted to illustrate this before I go further. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel because I'll be talking much more about my student life in Germany and some other application processes and travel and productivity and stuff. FYI, this interview occurred in English for 20 minutes in Seoul, South Korea. So without further ado, let's just jump in. Firstly, the notification about the interview. After submitting all my documents by the 1st of October, DAAD sent me an interview invitation on the 14th of November. I can't really tell if this is the standard timeline in the scholarship application because I had a little bit of issue with the postal service of my reference letter from the US. So it is safe to think that my timeline might have been a little bit shifted behind than other applicants. And they told me the interview was going to take place either on the 5th of December or 6th of December. So I think that was Thursday and Friday. After getting this email, you're supposed to tell them if you're interested in participating in the interview. If so, in which language, German or English, you can choose. I replied them in a couple days, being so excited and telling them I'm participating in the interview in English. As a final notification for the interview date, they rather told me a little bit late, which was November 29th, for the interview occurring on the 5th of December, which was a bit more shifted behind than other applicants. But I didn't have any problem organizing my schedule because it was either 5th or 6th, like today or the following day. So I just had to ask for, both days off. Now let's talk about the atmosphere in the interview. So my interview took place in Seoul, South Korea. I fly back to South Korea a day before the interview.
Finally arrived at Moscow International Airport. Okay, the day has come. It is 9:48. I'm exhausted. I couldn't sleep since 1 a.m. in the morning, but I don't feel particularly sick. I'll get back to you after the interview then.
Because of the time difference and jet lag, I got only 2 hours of sleep a night before the interview. So I was pretty exhausted and sleep deprived. Although I didn't feel so bad in the morning, at the same time, I didn't feel so great. I feel groggy and tired. But I was also so nervous that I forgot about my fatigue. Being nervous was definitely helpful for me. So my interview occurred at 11:30 in the morning. So I left the house around 9:30 and then arrived at the building an hour and a half before the interview. There was a coffee shop on the ground floor where I just hung out for an hour.
Wow, look at these breads. I'm gonna have this after the interview. Here I am in the Seoul Tower, and then I am an hour early. And then I was supposed to be here 30 minutes before the interview, and then I'm in the cafe to kill some time. Probably I'll prepare for the interview. I'll just work on my speech, and I just got rooibos tea, which is my favorite.
30 minutes before the interview, I got into the waiting room, being extremely nervous. I talked to one of the receptionists about general DAAD stuff where I asked a few questions, and we also talked about my student life in Germany. Talking to her was extremely helpful to calm myself down. She even gave me a few last minute tips which was also helpful, so I still thank her for them. It was a little after 11:30 a.m. and I finally got called. It was my turn. I was extremely nervous. I mean, just to think about it makes me really nervous. When I entered the room, I saw 5 people sitting in a square bracket shape. So there were 2 professors from universities in Korea and 3 DAAD staffs from Germany. 2 people mainly asked me most of the questions. One of the professors asked me 4 questions and one of the DAAD staffs asked me 2 questions. Anyway, when I entered the room, I felt very welcomed because they were saying things like, "Oh, it must have been quite a journey, like flying back to Korea. You must be very exhausted and thanks for coming." And one of the DAAD staffs offered me a glass of water, saying things like, "Oh, don't be too nervous. It'll be okay," something like that. Yeah, so it was very helpful too to calm myself down. Everyone looked very kind and smiling at all times. So this is where I could see through their awareness of like how nervous and tense we are about the interview. Alright, let's go deeper into the interview and I'll tell you guys the actual questions they asked me. So the interview itself consisted of 7 questions in total. The first question they asked me is, please introduce your goal in Germany and academic background. And second, why did you choose the US to pursue biology for your bachelor's degree? And third, so why did you end up in Germany for your master's degree? Fourth, can you tell us about your research plan during your master program? And fifth, can you tell us about how microbiome research can help us cure diseases like cancer? And sixth, what is your plan after getting a master's degree? And seventh, in retrospect, questions from 2 to 6 were the main questions, and 1 and 7 being more like casual questions. There were questions I definitely expected, and definitely I didn't expect it. For example, I expected questions like 3, 4, 5, 6, but 1 to 7 were totally unexpected. But I was able to address this question pretty competently because these are the stuff that I think about a lot whenever I apply to schools, new programs in new countries. And the first question was rather general, which is why I didn't expect this to come up in this interview. And after answering all the 7 questions, they asked me if I have any questions. I, of course, prepared a couple of questions for this, and I decided to ask one about German language learning opportunity funded by DAAD because I was genuinely curious about this and I wanted to express my interest or signal them how deeply I am interested in learning the languages and cultures along with the academic immersion. They kindly answered this question, but I don't really know if this question actually played a role in my final acceptance to the scholarship program. Alright, let's talk about how I did in the interview based on my own feeling after the interview and their reactions and comments. So after the interview, I thought I did relatively okay overall. I mean, in a sleep-deprived and extremely tensed state. Okay, I'm done with the interview, finally. It's really good to get over with. But I think I did alright. Although I mumbled a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad it's over. I'm heading back to see my family. So they gave me some, excellent, on my answers to several questions. So the questions that I remember are why Germany, why the US, and what's your research plan in my master program questions. I think I addressed this question quite clearly and competently by highlighting the importance of cultural immersion and the English language and interdisciplinarity. However, the question where I didn't do a very good job is number 6. It was about my future plans after my master program. Even though I sort of expected this question to come up and I did some practice on this and I had a pretty clear idea and goals and plans in my mind. I told them what I'm gonna do and what programs there are. As far as I remember, I just ended up rambling a little bit about the general stuffs of PhD programs in my field after briefly telling them about my plans. In other words, I was able to address this question, but not in an organized fashion. I remember I was feeling pretty embarrassed after hearing myself saying like this, and I kinda tried to wrap up my answer quickly. But I think my motivation essay was able to cover my mistakes here because I was being very specific about my future plans after my master program in my motivation letter. I suppose they asked me this question just to see either if I have more specifics after I wrote my motivation essay or to see me just speaking about it. But we never know. What was certainly helpful is that I had quite clear goals and direction in my research plan and knew why I wanted to study abroad. In the previous videos in my channel, I pointed out the importance of delving into the research opportunities in the master program and setting goals and plans before applying for scholarship and grad school programs. I believe my reflection to this interview is a good example supporting this argument. Moreover, my experience shows how important the motivation essay is because my motivation essay was able to supplement my argument and my mistakes in the interview. In the post-interview selection, DAAD definitely goes back to our motivation essay, CV, reference letter, as well as our interview. So this was confirmed by my email to the DAAD office and my experience itself. Alright, let's wrap things up. So this was basically everything I wanted to share in this interview, like how the interview was like, how the atmosphere and how the interviewers were like. So after watching this video, if you want to know more about like how I prepare for this interview, let me know in the comment section below because maybe I could make a video about it, although I'm not sure if I have like much story to share. And if you're still here, congratulations, you're done with the interview and then you can forget about the DAAD scholarship for the time being. I assume this was rather a long video for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. As always, if you have any questions about the interview or even the motivation letter, just leave it down in the comment section below. As you can see all my comment sections in all my videos, I reply to all the comments, so don't hesitate. Or if you're feeling reluctant about other people seeing your comments or questions, just email me to junvader@gmail.com and I'll respond to it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel because I'll continue to share my student life in Germany, travel, and other productivity stuff. Have a productive day and stay healthy. Bye bye.